Hey guys, it's Niella and welcome back to my channel. This week we're still in quarantine, we're still needing to save money and things, so I thought it would be a good idea to do some DIY at-home recipes that you could do to save a bit of money on things that are processed and that you buy from the shops anyway, but for a much cheaper price, because every time you make something by yourself it's a lot cheaper than just buying it from the store. So this week I've got 3 very easy, very quick recipes to do. So we're starting off with the first one, which is actually caramel syrup for your coffee. Whenever I make coffees at home, of course coffees at home are even cheaper than buying them at a cafe, so I make my coffees at home, and when I make them at home I use my own caramel syrup. When I buy caramel syrup from Coles or from the shops wherever, it's usually like 500ml bottle, barely anything, for $9, which is it's so expensive considering how fast it goes between me and Jared both using it. So first we mixed a 1/4 cup of water and a cup of sugar in a saucepan over medium to high heat. We mixed it until it was completely dissolved. In this step, make sure you don't let it boil until it is completely dissolved. Once all the sugar is dissolved, turn the heat to high and cover it to let boil for 2 minutes. Once the 2 minutes is up, uncover and stir gently while it continues to boil until it turns a nice deep amber color. It's a sort of brownish orange color, and then remove from the heat immediately after it starts to turn amber color. Now in this part, be very careful, you don't want to burn yourself. Once you add the water to this mixture, it will bubble and spray everywhere. We're gonna add the 1/2 cup of water. You can add in little bits and stir, or you can add it all at once, but that's the more dangerous option of doing it. And when the bubbles start to settle down, we can add a teaspoon of vanilla, a pinch of salt, mix it all together, and then just let it cool, and then you can use it for your coffees. Just finished the caramel. I haven't tried it yet because I need to let it cool and sit in the fridge for a while, but it smells so nice in here. Okay, so here's my coffee. I'm about to try it. I've just put in the caramel syrup that I made earlier. It literally tastes exactly like the ones I get in the store, which are like $9 for a little bottle of them, so this is so much cheaper. I'm definitely going to do this a lot more rather than just buying them from the store. Literally will only take you 5 minutes. I thought maybe it might take a longer time, maybe it's just easier to buy it, but to be honest, 5 minutes and it's finished. And this one will keep in the fridge for up to 6 months. Just make sure it's in an airtight container. I put it in a jar, a mason jar, any of those will do. The next DIY I did was actually to make like a cookie or a cake in a jar. All you do is put the dry ingredients of any cake mixes you'd like, put them into a jar in little layers if you want it to be pretty. Just make sure you figure out how big the jar is, because I had to switch between like 3 different jars, so it didn't even turn out very pretty. But make sure all the ingredients will fit in the jar, because the flour takes up the majority of them. I made 2 cakes, which was a vanilla and a chocolate cake. I actually made the vanilla cake to have on my mom's birthday, and it was actually delicious. It just makes it for a great gift, or even for like meal prepping sort of thing, because it's already in the jar. All you have to do is add the wet ingredients and it's done. So it literally takes half the time with just a little meal prep beforehand. And then you can make little labels on the side. I literally just made a Microsoft Word with a square box and put my wet ingredients and the instructions in there. So in the vegan vanilla cake mix that I did in the jar, I put 1 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of white sugar, a teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and then I put that all in the jar, and then on the label, and when I'm actually making the cake, 1 cup of soy milk, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, a 1/3 cup of extra virgin olive oil, and a tablespoon of white vinegar, or apple cider vinegar is what I used. And in the second cake, in the jar, I put 2 cups of white flour, 3/4 cups of cacao powder, a teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of salt, and if you'd like you can add a cup of vegan mini chocolate chips, and then 1.5 cups of sugar. And then in the wet ingredients, I put 1/2 cup of smashed up banana, 1/2 cup of any oil that you'd like, 1.5 tablespoons of pure vanilla extract, and 1.5 cups of water. So those were the 2 jars. They turned out perfect. They turned out so easy to use, which actually was so convenient when I was making the cakes. So now we're on to the 3rd recipe. I've made soy milk before. If you'd like to see a video on me making soy milk, there's a video when I first started the channel that I made my own homemade soy milk. This one is for oat milk. So this one literally takes 5 minutes. Unlike the soy milk recipes, you don't have to cook this one. You don't have to do any peeling of soybeans like you do with the soy milk, so it takes a lot less time. All you simply do is add a cup of rolled oats and 4 cups of water into a blender. You can add a whole pitted date for the sweetness, or as I did, a tablespoon of like maple syrup or rice malt syrup, any sort of sweetness that you want to add. Pinch of salt, and in my case a tablespoon of rice malt syrup into a blender, and you blend it for about 30 seconds to 45 seconds. You don't want to go over that because otherwise the oat milk will become slimy and not very nice to have. It won't be a smooth milk like we're used to. After that's done, you can get like a tea towel, or as I used, a milk bag. I did have to go through the milk bag 2 or 3 times before it became like clear and purely liquid sort of thing. But all you have to do is get a big bowl, pour it into your milk bag or your tea towel, squeeze it, clean the milk bag again, and then re-pour it into another bowl or into your jar as many times as necessary until it's a pure liquid. It tastes exactly like oat milk that you buy from the store, just a lot cheaper, and you can make a big batch if you'd like for very fast. Very easy option to do if you want to go down that route. So those are my 3 recipes for at-home manufactured vegan products and things that you can buy at your local supermarket for a lot less and very quickly. So you're not losing any time from making it yourself. It's almost as convenient as going out to the shop and buying it yourself. So I hope you enjoyed this week's video. If you want to see any more recipes from me, comment them down below and I'll get to them soon. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!